Today is Tuesday, May 14th, 2024, and welcome to SBA Today. Tonya, what are we talking about today?
Well, Paul, I think we're going to talk about TD Bank saying that our pipeline's fixing to get even larger. Now,
Woo!
I certainly hope so. That'd be nice. Yeah. The credit union just got even better. There's something coming down the line with that. And then we're going to talk projections. Imagine that. Projections.
Woohoo! Sexy topic of projections.
Hey. First, though, hey, I want to wish everybody out there, all you mothers out there, a happy Mother's Day. I don't know about you, Paul, what you did for your wife and your mom, but for me, both my birth mom and my stepmom are both passed, unfortunately. So it was kind of a rough day on that one. And my kids celebrated me, just calling me, and I got to talk to them. But I really want to tell all of you guys, thank you for what you do. And for those that maybe are missing theirs or they have passed on or something, we just want to make sure that you know that we love and respect you all. So happy Mother's Day. So I wanted to say that first and foremost.
Yes.
And okay, so I wanted to talk this morning a little bit about how you prepare. And the reason I want to talk about this, and okay, we can pop up this picture just real quick. So this morning, the way I typically prepare for my morning walks. Yep, that's me this morning. My army hat, celebrating my son. Anyway, you can see on my waist there, I have got a rain jacket. All right. So I was looking this morning. Okay, we can probably take that down now. But I was looking this morning at the weather because that's what I tend to do before I walk out of the house, because you just never know here in Colorado, man. So I look at the weather, I check outside, I see, what's the wind going to be? What's the temperature? Is there rain? That type thing. So this morning it called for rain. Said it was going to be starting. Absolutely. 100% going to be starting in like 15 minutes, blah, blah. So I put my rain jacket on around my waist and I'm all bundled and whatnot. I get out there and I'll be danged if there was no wind, there was no rain. I mean, there was clouds and I was prepared, but nothing actually ended up happening. However, hey, the whole point is I was prepared, right? To bring that to business and SBA specifically. So when I got into SBA, one of the best pieces of advice ever given to me by my manager was to dig into SBA standard operating procedure, the SOP, as we all lovingly call it, right? I did. I mean, I took that 100%. I dug in. I put myself out there basically as the expert before the expert. I was like posting all my tidbits early on. This is like 6 years ago. And what it did is not only was it me digging into the SOP, but then people would ask me questions, and they would ask questions on the posts that I put out there from the SOP. I then would have to dig in even further and learn more. Well, the reason I say that is I think so many lenders depend very much on their back office, on their processors, on their credit, SBA, whoever it is, to tell them the eligibility around deals. I'm here to say that I think those of us who, and you should, dig into the SOP directly and specifically yourself, because you're going to, one, know it. You go into a business meeting, who do you think that customer is going to trust? The person that's sitting there telling them, we might have an issue around this one because of this eligibility piece with the SOP, or the one that's like, okay, no, we can do this. We're going to get this in. They get it in, and 2 weeks later they come back and they're like, oh, I'm sorry, we've got an issue with eligibility. That can hurt people, right? And I see it so often. So my point is, do your homework, right? Dig in. Just kind of like with the weather and the elements, right? Be prepared for whatever. If you don't need it, great. If they don't ask you that question, great. You know it, and you can bring it up next time. So anyway, just building off of yours from last week, Paul.
That is brilliant and very were you like at my desk yesterday? Because that was exactly a topic that I had with one of my team members. Is you cannot depend on others to come up with the SOP answer. I eat, breathe, and sleep the SOP. I'm a geek, period. Okay. And it's probably why I manage my department. Exactly.
Wow. See my new hat. Thanks, Ray. I'm going to say I don't eat, breathe, and sleep
We
SBA.
need to change that
I
to just
work
say
in
SOP.
SBA, and I will let y'all eat, breathe, and sleep. But I'm going to tell you right now, I have fun. Mhm, mhm. I'm kidding.
But that is definitely a very good point, and I
Right.
appreciate you bringing that up because if you
Yeah.
want to be an expert in your field, you got to
Mhm.
master that.
Well, and
And
when people like when my the loan officers come and ask me a question, the very first thing out of my mind is, "Have you looked in the SOP?" And I'm like, "I'm sorry, that's what's going to happen." And I'm going to have them go and look in the SOP first so they can find their own information. It's not to be a jerk, even if I know the answer, right? Which I typically do. But it's not to be a jerk. It's because every time you go in there and you look, you learn more. And it just makes
absolutely.
you more confident. And I think it makes you a better lender. So,
But my people just say, "Well, it's easier to call you."
well,
I'm like,
it is,
"Well, freaking stop it." I
right?
always say that I'm available for everybody, but then that happens. So I
Well,
don't
then
know.
that's the point,
That was a
Paul. So
good
you
story
got to
though.
do it like me. You make it harder because then you
I
put it
should,
back on
and then
them.
they won't
Did you
call me
go?
as much.
Sure, you
Good
did. What did
point.
it say?
Well, hey,
Anyway.
let's move into our stories here. I want to thank TD Bank and Delaney Sexton with the Coleman report for this one. 64% of small business owners will apply for financing in the next 12 months. 64%. I think that is a good thing for us SBA lenders. Let's hopefully they're doing SBA lending and maybe even some conventional lending rather than some of the high interest rate stuff that's out there. So some
Oh,
interesting
stop
things.
talking about me, the high interest rate stuff. I know you're talking
Oh,
about me.
whatever,
I'm
you're
pretty
normal. But
definitely
there
not.
were some facts in this article I thought were very interesting.
Right.
So, less than 20% of small business owners considered changing their primary financial institution. 20% will
Mm.
change.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I'm not shocked by that number, but it's a good number to keep in your mind because it's not easy to change banks, especially if you're a business, right? So there's that. Another one in the survey said that 95% of small business owners will be applying for a loan or line of credit in the next 12 months, and they are confident that they will be approved through their bank.
Oh, wow. That's a big one.
95%. Okay, so
What are they
customers, if
asking for?
you're listening to this
100 bucks?
podcast,
They're
you're
asking for
going to
100
be,
bucks, Paul. Did you hear me?
I know.
100 bucks. 100 bucks. Sure.
Sure, I'd bet money on that. I mean, whoo.
Mhm.
So careful of that. Couple other facts I thought were interesting is almost 2/3 of business owners shared that they will have additional credit or financing needs in the next year. So that's our 2/3.
Mhm.
And then 45% would launch a new product or service line in the next 12 months. Now
I'm
that's
seeing
got
that.
SBA
I'm
screaming all
definitely
over.
seeing a lot of that,
I
the
am
the
too.
launching, and I'm actually seeing some, export as well, which I love. Um,
Uh-huh. Me
I know.
too.
Yeah, that part's good.
So
But now
interesting. So
how do you do it, Paul? How does your bank do it? Do you make people switch their accounts? Because we don't, and I think that's one of the benefits that we have based on us in the outlying. So not Missouri, where we're based, right? But all of
mhm,
us outlying states that do 7(a) only, we don't make them change their bank. We just help other banks whenever they can't get it through, basically try to help with that
right.
SBA loan. They keep the relationship. We don't make them move it. But I know that's a huge, huge thing. The big A paper, let's say the big banks,
Yep.
absolutely. If you're going to get a loan with them, they're going to
Yep.
make you move everything that you have
Yep.
to them to give you that loan.
Well,
Yeah.
and by the way, my boss does watch us occasionally. Hi, Ben.
Hey, Ben,
But
we love you,
so,
Ben. I don't know you, but I love you.
so one of the things, obviously, we're a credit union, and we
Mhm.
definitely want the relationship, et cetera. But we don't have branches like 7-Elevens, right?
Right.
And so sometimes it's not as convenient for that. We definitely try really hard to build in that. But sometimes it's not easy to do that. So we definitely try really hard to at least get one additional service outside of the loan. That's
Well, and
definitely a big
here's
part
the
of our
thing.
goal.
I think I tell borrowers all the time, like I'm in a more transactional type role right now, but I wasn't. I was with Chase Bank and I was with BBVA Compass. And it was very much the relationship, not the transactional. I personally tell every single person, every borrower that comes to me, I ask who they bank with. I ask if they've
Of course.
talked to their bank, because the people that want to do the most typically and can are those that are holding your deposits and holding your relationship. They want to keep your relationship. They realize that people want to take you from them.
That's right.
Um, and they should. It's easier because then you can build that relationship with your banker. I mean, I'm all about it. Yeah,
Mhm.
I help, right? But that isn't that my role is to help, right? But I think from a business standpoint, make that relationship with their bank that they bank with, because that's who's going to help them over time.
That's correct.
So,
Absolutely.
mhm.
What's our second story? Some
Wow.
big news disrupting the credit
Um,
union industry.
let's see. Would that be Ray Drew going to Trulient? Okay, Ray Drew is going to Trulient
True
Federal
Liant.
Credit. True
I know he would
Lion?
tell you to
I
correct
like
that. True
Trulient.
Liant.
I've changed the name. Mm, come on, it's the Tonya version. No,
Oh,
okay,
okay.
True Liant then.
Yep.
True Liant. It's all the same. I'm kidding. True Liant, and we are so proud of him. And I know that that
Yep.
just means that credit unions and unions are fixing the freaking boom. You know that, Mr. Gisa.
Yeah, that's right. Bring it on. Bring it on with our no
Well,
taxes.
shoot, now I'm the odd man out. Ah. Anyway,
Well, hey,
yeah,
Tanya,
congratulations, Ray.
yeah, congratulations, Ray, for sure. So let's have a kind of a quick, frank discussion on projections because, man, have I noticed many institutions, because I have a lot of SBA manager friends in the industry and we
Right.
all bounce ideas off each other. And, what would you do? And one of the things that is very interesting to me is, like, for example, when it comes to projections, they are all over the board.
Yeah.
And so, if you have a loan under 500,000, it's do
Mhm.
what you do is
Right.
actually really how it is. But do you require them on a change of ownership? Tanya, that question's for you. Do you require for under
Projection.
500,000?
100%. I still do. I don't
Yeah,
care. I
gotcha.
require projections on every single deal that I do. I do.
Wow,
I do. Yeah.
that's
Um,
awesome.
well, I don't know about every single. Okay, I guess that's a little much,
No,
but I
okay.
mean, because
See, everyone does it different.
because if it's I mean, but think about it though. That's true. I mean, even if it's an expansion, I mean, projections are helpful because it depends. I mean, you've got to
Mhm.
realize the type deals I do, and it's a little bit
Yeah.
different likely than what you do. So all of mine are typically challenging. So
Got it.
if I require the projections oftentimes because I'm typically working with somebody that maybe their historicals don't look so good, or they've had a dip for whatever reason, or
Mm,
they were really good here and it dropped here, or there's some story that we're building around, because they many businesses have stories, right? And we're a story bank. We listen to that story and try to figure out how we can work around it. So yeah,
sure.
I tend to ask for projections because I want to know what's going on.
And that's good. And one
Mhm.
thing that sometimes I get frustrated on is if it historically cash flows, why in the heck do I need projections? Because there's a
It depends.
SOP says because there's a change in key management. Okay, but
Right.
so what? The revenue is revenue. Like I still have a hard time with that. I have my
Well,
opinion.
I don't know though, because if it's a different manager coming in, they've got different networks, they've got different sources. I mean, what are they
Sure.
planning on doing? Are they going to put some more marketing materials in that's going to expand it? I mean, it's just a matter of
Okay.
wanting to know
Sure.
what they're doing. I guess I've gotten so darn used to it because of the type deals I work with. It's like you know, I
Yeah.
it's just going to happen.
Well, that
It's
that
just
makes
going to
sense.
happen.
So let's have that same question on business plans. When do
Okay,
you require a business plan?
up front.
On every deal?
Okay. Well, most again, most, and
Really?
I think it's the type deals I do. We don't get those easy
Okay.
breezy whatever deals. I mean, I so it's different. So it's great that we're having this conversation because a lot of the loan officers out there are going to kind of see themselves in us, right? Yours is the credit union, and likely you're getting those that you've known, whatever, right? They're not typically deals that have been turned down elsewhere
Sure.
or had a challenge here or there. So usually by the time I get it, there's a reason I'm asking for projections. There's a reason I'm
Got it.
asking for the business
Okay.
plan. It's like, or there's transferable skills. Well, I want to know how are you actually going to take it and do something with it? But so
Gotcha.
I do, and I ask early. My list, I'm a little more challenging, I think, up front, but that's because I want to make darn sure that what I'm doing, I have a really high likelihood of getting through. I think my decline rate is probably 5%. I mean, it's ridiculous
Mhm.
because I just want to know everything up front so I can help the best I can.
Well, what just on my side, so I do a lot of business acquisitions
Mhm.
within our area, and with business plans, unless you're a brand new business, which I don't
Right.
finance that many of, but when I do, that's when I require a business plan. Is
Mhm.
something like that. If they can provide to me even a one page back of the napkin, this is what I'm going to do differently. I'll
Right.
call that a business plan. Like, I mean, I don't need a 40-page document to tell
Oh
me
no.
the statistics and all that. And I just that part kind of bugs me. But yeah,
I don't do any of that either, Paul.
what are you going to do that's different? And even if it's a one-page email, I
Mhm.
don't care. That could be helpful for new businesses. But if it's just a new owner and they're going to continue down the tracks and do
Oh
everything
yeah.
the same, then I'm not going to require a business plan regardless
Right.
of the dollar amount. So I was just curious because the
Right.
SOP is silent on business plans.
Right.
But I was just curious to see how other individuals like you. And so if you work on extremely challenging deals, then yeah, you're right. You're going to need to beef up your file with a lot of stuff. So
Well, it's because usually they're coming in and they've got some sort of a challenge. So the reason the business plan and the projections and all that is what are you going to do different? Why are we going to back you with our money if it hasn't been up to snuff up to
got
this
it.
point? And so it's a
So
little
it
different,
wouldn't
but
be
some of them
safe.
are like a one page. Oh, yeah. I mean, some are like, history of the business. It's like this little one page. It depends.
Yeah, no, and so,
Mhm.
so it'd be safe to say that you're not the garbage dump of the bank.
Definitely not the garbage.
Okay, I just wanted to check.
100% not the garbage. No. And you know what? No. You know what? Okay. Do you send a lot of yours to like, okay, here's the thing for me that has totally off subject, but I get a lot of these oh boy. The lenders out there past the SBA, let's just say, right? That
Hmm.
really high interest rates. I have a
Yep,
difficult time. I do. And I tell them this, they reach out to me all the time. I have a really hard time sending clients that direction. Um,
agreed. Yep,
if they find it on their own, that's one thing, but
yep,
I can't in good conscience
100%.
send somebody to a 20 something percent interest rate. I'm like, you know
Nope.
what? How about you do some of these things and get prepared to actually do a better rate loan
Hmm.
when it's time. I don't know. How do you feel about that? Because I
No, I
just
completely agree. I have a hard time, and because if you're in that stage where you have to get a 20% loan, you are desperate, and you may not come back from it. And I'm
many
literally
don't.
helping you
Mhm. Yeah,
go down a really bad rabbit hole. So
absolutely,
yeah, I agree with that.
absolutely. All right. Well, that was a fun discussion. Hey, we want to make sure that you guys recognize that not only are we on here, but we've got some sister channels. We've got the Art of SBA Lending, of course, which is Ray Drew, and then
Yep.
some awesome BDOs on the BDO show for the SBA show as well. I know. Well, I even listen to that. They've got some great info out there.
Yeah,
So
they do.
go listen to them. It's pretty fun. Um, yeah, so we got that on all the different podcasts and whatnot and streaming platforms. Also with us, and if you want to, of course, come back to
Eat,
us
breathe,
because
sleep.
we yeah, eat, breathe, and sleep. Yeah, no, we don't. No, we don't. No, we don't. I have to sleep. Otherwise, this would be an ugly, ugly, ugly thing. But anyway, Tuesdays here on LinkedIn and or YouTube or any of the streaming platforms for us as well. And thanks for joining us.
You bet. See you later.
See ya.